welcome. It's Grandma Roseanne, and you're in the kitchen with me again. And today we're going to do something so yummy. We're going to make a cherry cobbler. Now, I know you have probably made a million cobblers, but you've never made one like this. The biscuits that go on top are to die for. They're so good. So let's just get started. Let's get right into it because it's going to cook for a long time and it's going to be delicious, but we want to have it ready for dinner. So we're going to start out with some sugar. And the very first thing I'm going to do is put in 1/4 of a cup of sugar. Then 2 teaspoons of the zest of a lemon. Now you know when you're zesting lemon, all you want is the yellow. Be sure you don't get any of the white in there, just the yellow, because the white is called the pith and it is just bitter. You don't want that at all. Now the reason I put these together is I kind of want to massage them, and I want that flavor of that lemon to really get into that sugar. Okay? Then we need 1 tablespoon of baking powder, and this is going to give it the rise. It's going to give it the puff that it needs. 1 teaspoon of kosher salt. And I'm going to mix this up a little bit here, just like that. Then we're going to go ahead and add 2 cups. 2 cups, not 1. 2 cups of flour. And again, I don't mix flour, I just aerate it by doing that to it. I stopped sifting flour years ago because I hated it. There. And as I have always said, each time I think that I'm doing this, I love having all the ingredients out. I really do. I think it eliminates skipping something. It eliminates missing, an ingredient that you overlooked because you stopped and you had to go to a counter to get it. So I pretty much take everything, put it on the counter, and then as I use it, I push it back. So I know that it's been used. So I don't do it a second time or totally forget to do it. It's a real easy control for me there. Now we want to add butter. The butter is important. And you want to keep the butter as cold as you can. So you can actually, if you want to freeze your butter like I did, it's really good. What you might want to do is to cut it into cubes. And you can do it that way, or like we did it here, is we just grated it. And it's all going to be so easy to incorporate. Now when we're doing the butter, we want to be very careful. We don't want to handle it. Just the heat from your hands is going to melt that butter very, very quickly, even though it's frozen. So this is what we're going to do. We are going to mix it with a fork, just like this. You want to get all of that butter separated, incorporated, covered, just like that. And by not using your fingers up until the very end, when you might have to, because some lumps are a little bit more stubborn than others, then what you do is just kind of separate it, squeeze it between your fingers like this, okay? Just like that. But for the most part, what you're looking for is you want this to be about the consistency of English peas, about that size, okay? If you have a few larger chunks of butter in here, that's not a problem. All right, I think we are right where we need to be. Oh, I can smell the lemon in here. Oh, it smells so good. Love it. I love any kind of cobbler, but I think a cherry cobbler is my very favorite. Alrighty. Now to this, we need to add 1 1/3 cups. Got something falling over there. 1 1/3 cups of heavy cream. You cannot use milk. You have to use heavy cream. Just look at that. This is going to give it a depth of flavor that is magnificent. Now we're just going to incorporate that. And you'll notice I'm still trying not to use my hands. And this is going to be a sticky dough, okay? So be prepared for that. If you don't have a bench scraper like this, I really recommend that you get one. They're very, very inexpensive. You can find them anywhere. But what you're able to do is you're able to do this. You can scrape in and you can get all of that that's stuck on the side of that bowl, just like that. They come in different sizes and in different shapes. There's metal ones and there's larger ones, and they all have a good purpose. So I have several of these depending on what I'm doing. There. Now, this is exactly the consistency we're looking for. You see that? That's what we want. We want to put a little bit of flour onto our work surface. Dump this out. And now we just want to kind of form it. Just like this. And you'll feel it start coming together, and you'll also feel the richness in the dough. You guys, it's great. There. I want all those bits and pieces. Nobody gets to escape. You're wanting to fold the dough onto itself several times here. Just bring it over and fold it in. A little bit more flour. There. Now this dough is well incorporated. If I were to just break it in the middle right now, it would not be all shaggy. It really would look like a uniform dough. Now what we're going to do, pat it into a rectangle. This we have now patted to about 3/4 of an inch, and we're going to cut it. Now remember I told you about different types of scrapers. This is just a much larger one. This is going to be very effective for what we're needing here. So we're going to cut it into fourths, just like that. Then we're going to stack them on top of each other. Little tiny bit of flour in between will not hurt, just like that. And we're going to press it down. And for those of you that have made puff pastry, right now you're saying, oh, I know what she's doing. She's just creating levels of fluffiness in between, and that's exactly what's happening here. Just levels of fluffiness. Now we're going to roll it out to about a 1/2 inch. I'm going to use the scraper. Just get down in there. I want to make sure I'm able to release this. And when you pat your dough like that, what you're actually doing is you're feeling for your thick spots and your weaker spots, or thinner, not weaker. And that's exactly what I was feeling as I went through there. I don't know if any of you have a rolling pin like this. It's a French rolling pin. It's tapered at the edges, and I have several rolling pins. I have a marble one, I have all kinds of different types. This is the best rolling pin I have ever found, ever used, and it's the only one I use anymore. This is so good with the tapered edges that are there, and this is the only rolling pin I've ever owned that I was actually able to make a round pie crust. And you do it by just going this way, just like that. Bringing it around like that. So good. All right, we're still a little bit thick over here. And a little bit thick over here. Now we're going to cut out the rings on this. I'm using a very small cutout on this, and the reason for that is because I will get more of them and I'll be able to squeeze them closer together on top of that cherry filling, because the closer you can get them, minimizing the gaps that are in there, the more they will rise. They kind of support each other in coming up. So we are just going to start doing some cutting. Just like that. And you want to try and get as much as you can on the first cutting like this. There's going to be scraps left over, and we can reincorporate them. We can do that, but we are much better off to get as many out of the first roll as we can. As you start using and reworking your dough, it starts to get a little bit tough. I'm excited to make this for you. And I'm excited to make it for my husband. And I'm excited to make it for my son, who will be coming over for dinner, and Sandy. Come and say hi, Sandy. Sandy. Sandy's going to start her own channel. And when she does, I'm going to tell you guys all about it, because she is precious and we love her. So I won't make her come over here because I don't want her to hate me. But she's been a beautiful addition to our family. And we really should record what we're going to do next, because after this, you guys, after this we're going to go up and learn how to do eyelashes. That's going to be so cool. Well, the eyelashes that she picked out for the very first time, because she's never done them, were really big. And I said, and Sandy is petite. She's a tiny little girl, petite. And I said, whoa, those are really big eyelashes. So we're going to go have some girl time and some fun, because this has to cook. Well, first of all, after I'm done with this part of it, then I'm going to put it in the refrigerator for about 10 or 15 minutes, let it get nice and cold. I'm going to go ahead and make the filling, and then from that point, what we're going to do is bake it, and it bakes for like an hour and 10 minutes. So we're going to have a lot of time in the middle there, so we can do girl stuff and play. I need to see how many we have here. I think the desired amount is 40 to come out of this, but I never get 40. So don't worry about it. I think the only thing you need to be concerned about is that they're all relatively the same width or depth, simply because you want them all cooking at the same time. But if you have some that are a little bit, you know, you went a little bit thicker on them or a little bit thinner, as long as they're uniform in the baking, you're okay. How many did I say I had before? Anybody remember? Nobody was paying attention.
29.
29, are you sure? Sandy's eyes got really big. I'm supposed to be listening. just about done. 29, 30. Oh, 42, we're good. All right, now we're gonna pop these in the refrigerator and they're going to stay there for probably 10-15 minutes. Well, the discs are in the refrigerator and they're chilling as they should be, and so we're going to start working on the filling right now. I have got 2 pounds of cherries right here. I bought the frozen cherries because our cherries are not in season right now, but if you are lucky enough to be in an area where you can grow cherries, because we actually can grow them here, it's just the wrong season for them, go ahead and pick them, pit them, get the pits out, and use those, the fresh cherries. But in a pinch, these are equally as good. When you're buying any kind of frozen fruit like this, they pick it at its peak. So you're getting a product that is excellent. It's not an inferior product that they have gone ahead and frozen. It's a superior product. So we're going to dump the cherries in. And then we need 1/2 cup of sugar. 1/4 cup of fresh lemon juice. And use the fresh, you guys. Don't buy the jar. It just takes a minute to just squeeze that, or if you have Sandy over, she squeezes it for you. It's so much easier that way.
Yeah.
Yes, Sandy, yes, Sandy. And then 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. This you can't skimp on. This is your thickening agent. A 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. If you like lemon extract, if you like the almond, if you like that flavor, it pairs really well with the cherries. Go ahead and use it. I don't have any, so I'm not using it, and I'm not really a fan of almond, so for me, I would not put it in. But if you like it, it really pairs well with this. Then we need a 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt. And we need to give it a really good mix. We want everything incorporated. We definitely want all those cherries to have sugar and cornstarch and everything else that it needs in there. You'll know you're well blended when you can no longer see any white stuff. Now, if you like your cobblers to be not quite so juicy, you can increase your cornstarch and that will thicken it. We kind of like it juicy because I think it's just fantastic when it's juicy. So for us, 3 tablespoons is enough, but feel free to do whatever you like. Well, are you thinking right now, whoa, what happened to the video? Well, I'm going to explain what happened to the video. When I started to edit, the video was so good. The recipe was so good. And there was one section right dang in the middle that didn't record for whatever reason. So I had some options. Number 1, I could start over again and do the whole thing over again. No. Don't want to do that. Number 2, I could just throw it out, forget about the cobbler. But it was so good. So, number 3, I'm going to just give you an insert of what was missing, all right? So, from where you are on the video now, what I did is I took all of those cherries and I put them into a pan. The pan that you're going to use, you can use a cake pan. If you're using this, it should be 9 inches and 2 inches in height, all right? If you're going to use a casserole dish, it should be a 2-quart dish. Now then, all you're going to do, once you put the cherries in, press them down, compact them, just press them down. Then you're going to take all of those beautiful little biscuit discs that we made, and now you're just going to put them around the entire top of the cobbler. You want to get them really close, as I told you before, because they'll help each other rise. They kind of lift each other up. After you have done that, you want 3 tablespoons of melted butter. Now that butter should be cool, because remember, we're trying to keep all of the butter cold, because that's what's going to create the flakiness. So once you have cooled the melted butter, just brush it on all of them, straight across.
Okay.
And if you're fortunate enough to have this product or can buy it, it's just really, really good. What it is sugar, but it's sugar that is not granulated so fine. It's larger chunks of sugar. Cameraman, come in. Let's see if we can take a look at this. This is the company. This is what I have purchased, and it is excellent. It's really excellent. So all you're going to do on this is take the sugar, sprinkle it on the top, and that should do it. All right, now we're ready. Everything is complete here. Now I will forewarn you. You are definitely going to want to have a sheet pan that has edges, and you want to put foil on it, because I can almost guarantee you that as this is cooking, it's going to bubble over, and you will have a mess in your oven if you haven't done something to catch those drippings. And that is spoken to you by the woman who more than one time has had to go in and clean a complete oven because I forgot this one step, okay? I'm going to pop it in the oven for 10 minutes at 400 degrees. Then I'm going to reduce it to 350, and I'm going to have it at 350 for anywhere from 50 to 65 minutes. And I know that's a large span in there, but what you want to do is you want to take a look at the biscuits. Make sure that they're puffy, that they're golden. And when you get them to that stage, then it is done, okay? So in the oven for 10 minutes, and I will be back in about an hour and a half, and we will have a taste of this, because I know it's going to be fantastic. So be back in a little bit. Well, we are finished baking right now, and after I reduced the oven to 350, it went for 1 hour. But remember what I said is 50 to 65 minutes. What you want to do is you want to watch the golden crust that's formed on the biscuits. And we have a beautiful crust. So look at this, will ya? Oh my gosh, look at that. It's fantastic. Now, remember what I said to you. Remember what I said to you about the spillover? You do not want that on your oven floor. So always remember to use this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to let this cool down, and then we will have a taste test of it, but it's going to be a taste test with ice cream, because that is the best way to eat this. So I'm going to let this cool down, and we will be back for that gorgeous bite that we're going to take. Be back in a minute. Well, here we are. Finished product. We have this cherry cobbler that smells amazing. As we were coming down the stairs, I could smell the whole thing, thinking, oh my God, it's fantastic. So, time for the taste. So this is the way I like to eat this. I like having a biscuit. We have got one. Oh my God, that is really good. And then I think it has to have ice cream. So we have vanilla bean ice cream. Now, Sandy was with me earlier as I was picking up the ice cream, and I ended up getting a salted caramel. And she said, oh, I don't think that's what you want. And you're right, I put it back, got vanilla. So here we go with vanilla. There. Now, the way I like to eat this is to take some ice cream, take a biscuit that has cherries on it, and just go for it. Okay? That's a slice of heaven. That's what it is. So I need one more bite because, oh my goodness. Oh, really good. But I have other people here that will attest to it. So, give me one moment. Al, come here. This is my oldest son.
Hi.
Take some of this. And some of this. And tell me honestly what you think. And when I say honestly, if he didn't like it, he would tell you. Honestly, he would.
That's delicious.